I was born in Arecibo, 1955, August 23rd, 1955. Yes, it's an island. It's surrounded by, kind of a coastal, the sea everywhere. Green, kind of beautiful place. We have mountains in the center of the island. It's around maybe 35 feet wide by 100 feet long. You can drive, drive around Puerto Rico, and it takes like maybe 3 or 4 hours to go around, the island. And but it's a beautiful place, beautiful people. We like to fish. We like to swim. We like to be happy. A lot of happy people out there, and green everywhere. We got mountains. We got rainfall forest, which you need to bring an umbrella because you get wet. You're gonna get wet at all times, and and that different type of cuisine because of the, we got the seafood. We got the vegetables. We can live from the land easily. Because we can grow lots of vegetables, and we also a mix of Indian, Spaniards, and also black. We are three in one race, and we came. I know about my grandparents and great grandparents. Okay, and my mother's side came from the Canary Islands, and then my father's side came from the southern Spain, and they, my grandparent was blue eyes, white, and my mother was green color eyes, and got cousins, many cousins. I got uncles, aunts, and from both sides we have big families. Now they are minimized because they have gone. Most of them are gone, but we are happy people. Puerto Ricans are happy people and get along with anybody. Yeah, and so. Childhood memories, good, very good.
Yes.
Okay. The very good memory that I got is when I'm living with my grandmother, great grandmother, and I had the rest of the family was living with her because we got kind of problems with. There was some kind of problems with monetary problems. Because when my father got the stroke, we had to kind of give away our own house for rental. In that way, we can survive. My mother was by herself. Trying to working with us growing up, and so we moved with my great grandmother. And then my cherished memory was when I rode my bike. Okay, it was a green kind of swing, mantras, bicycle, and I would rode that. Rode that bicycle down the hill, and it was the most beautiful experience I had, and so I cried because I lost it, and a long time ago. But anyway, the thing is that was my cherish, and then I enjoyed because it was a small town. It's kind of a town of Santana. It's called Santana, and I would rode my bike down downhill, and I remember my friends and neighbors, and we were well known in that area, in the small town, kind of a neighborhood, and I lived there for 25 years, and but that was my cherish.
Yeah, the riding a bike.
Riding a bike down the hill, and it was beautiful. It's a simple experience, but that's that's it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, I had extended family there. Still, cousins. I got like a two or three aunts from my mother's side. From my father's side, they were like a big family. They are gone. Most of them are gone. But still, I have my cousins. And when I went back in after the hurricane, 4 weeks after the hurricane, I visited all of them from both sides. My degree was electrical engineer
In the
in
University of.
University of Puerto Rico, and I was there are different universities, like they are like Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rico University of Puerto Rico, which has different places around the island. The one that I went, it was specialized in engineering, which is located on the west coast of Puerto Rico, and I used to drive back and forth at the end of the week. At the end of the week, I will drive to home, and then at the beginning of the following week, I would drive to the university, and I was there to accomplish an engineering degree. Down in Puerto Rico, it's 5 years, and not like here, that's 4 years, and we put more time into that, and but I got a specialization in communications.
So is that what brought you over to Oklahoma?
Yes, mainly because of that. Down in Puerto Rico, the main topic that they have, or the main way of engineers can work in there is with the power, kind of the technology of the power, electronics, power, the power of driving, carrying power to the houses, and that's one of the subjects of the engineers. There are some other branches of engineering in the electrical subject, which has the communications, it has the power, Well, Puerto Rico doesn't. There was no, at that time in the 80s, communications system. So there were some few, and there was no enough vacancies for engineers of the kind that I am, to get a job, to get a good job. So I was interviewed by a group of personnel who came from here, from the Air Force. They went there to Puerto Rico to interview people. Luckily, I was one of them, and I was selected to come here to Oklahoma and service communications for the Air Force. It was a major contrast because I knew how to write and speak the language, speak English. Okay, one of the problems was maybe the fluency in English was the part that it was a kind of hard. But when I got into doing my job, the job most of the time was like a writing, and I was good at writing. Kind of writing, let's say, design of the system, design of the communication systems, and the most of it was preparing packages of the design that we were handing this to the installers. The installers were military personnel, and we were doing packages for installation of antennas. I started working with antennas and radios, and so in the aspect of work, it wasn't, too much of a problem. And then the speaking part of it, I will practice with my coworkers. I would practice more into calling people, by the phone and getting, some questions answered relating to the job. And on the other part, on the social part of it, I didn't find any huge problem because I will mingle with people of my age. I will go to, places of dancing places, and so I will, get into that. I will kind of get with my coworkers, and we go into groups and, go to places for dancing and things like that. And so I started to learn some of that stuff there. Culturally, I think that maybe could have been something related to maybe the food. Okay, I started to learn how to eat beans. Okay, beans with onions, and I said, "Oh, this is great." I was open to every experience. To me, it was a kind of an adventure to come here and mingle with people, learn the language, learn the food, learn this thing, and it wasn't a big difference between living in Puerto Rico and living here. Because it was just language, Spanish, English, and then, but I will look into improve myself, improve my language by moving forward. You go through a stage in which you start learning a language, and it happens in every language. You learn the structure, and then when you're speaking, you kind of get a little bit awkward because you're not maybe expressing yourself completely, and so sometimes you will find a little bit of being scared to talk. But then I noticed that, and I said, no, I need to improve. I need to move forward. I need to do it. And by moving forward, and putting pressure on myself to do it, I more or less I started to pick up the fluency that I needed. So I didn't find much of a difference. And as I kind of told you just a while ago, when I worked in different areas of the organization, because I moved around for different. Because I love communication, I love the systems, the system of communications. So I moved everywhere, in the office by office, every 3 or 4 years to learn more of the systems. The thing is that the thing is that by meeting a group, for example, I met a group. In which they were asking me if there was a if that the culture in Puerto Rico was different from here. Yeah, there's some certain differences, but Puerto Rico is part of the United States. We are we use the same money, the same type of money, the dollar, we are all that the same. But we also we watch the same programs, the TV programs. We watch all that. We even have newspapers in English. Newspapers, there was one called San Juan Star, and that was, in all English. Okay, and So when I went to university, my books were in English. So I had the exposure to all that, and that was how I, kind of learned, how to write, and then learn the language. So there was no huge difference. I kind of adopted United States here, living here. I adopted that completely. No problem with it.
It was a smooth transition.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a smooth transition. Yeah, well, there were maybe some few. They were not, kind of a huge group. There were maybe, kind of maybe 4 or 5, Puerto Ricans, and in the area, uh, in the area that the work related, and there were not many. I'm in touch with them. Some of them moved to other states, and they went down to San Antonio. Maybe 1 or 2. They went to Colorado, and so a couple of them went back to Puerto Rico. Things like that, because maybe family problems or something like that. And but I came in 1980 and stay here since then. I have around maybe 40 plus years living in Oklahoma. I retired in September the 2nd, 2017. Oh, that has been an adventure again, and one thing that I always like to do things. I cannot. You need, you have to improve yourself all the time. So let's say, it's not like you have to be obsessed about, and all that, but you need to have something to do when you retire. And also I like to do things. I like to kind of work in my house, do things in the house. And if I can pick up a part-time, I do the part-time job. One thing that I kind of worked on nowadays is being like a background performer for movies. And that was since kind of my son kind of invited me to participate in the Tinker Credit Union 75 kind of inauguration 75, some kind of thing that they do. It was a 75 since the beginning of Tinker Credit Union. So I did the commercial with my wife, and then from there I kind of enjoyed to do so, and I thought that, hey, I can do this. I kind of participated, then applied for a movie with DiCaprio, with the Killers of the Flower Moon, which was a film in Pahuska, north of here, and I did that. Then I did another movie, Deadland, south, in somewhere in some place down here in Oklahoma. And and I did. Then I took just recently. I completed my acting, one of the acting classes, and I enjoy it to do dialogues and monologues, and so and meet other performers. And so I do different things. I even help my wife at work as a volunteer. She works for she's a registrar for the Capitol Hill High School, and I help her for enrollments, and even even the principal or the administrator has offered me a job there, and I say, well, not for now, because I like to have my kind of part of doing my thing, kind of part-time. If it's a part-time, I can't pick up a job like that, because, but anyway, I like to do things for myself too. So that's But I enjoy it. My retirement, I have enjoyed it, and there's more to go. There's more the things to do, but anyway. But one thing concerning, let's say, I don't know if you're gonna ask me this, but this is a good thing about the resilience. You were talking about resiliency, and when I was doing my job in the beginning, in the 80s, 1980s. God, I went through. I had tough, tough bosses. Okay, and and then considering that I knew how to, I knew the kind of the deal of knowing how to write the packages, installation packages, that was easy for me. But the speaking part of it, and then kind of getting to work with people, and then be accepted by them, let's say professionally, because when they listen to you and they feel like okay, you're speaking with with some problems. They feel like maybe you are not, no, you wouldn't be up to the job. They said, well, he doesn't, kind of doesn't express himself well. Maybe there's a problem here. Maybe he's not gonna do well. Well, the way that I took care of me, I carried myself through those phases, because it didn't happen, forever. You had to go through that. Was telling myself, if I do a great job, it will shine. I will shine. If I do the job, I show them that I can do it. I shine to them. Up to this point, 37 years. Within 37 years, you go back there and ask them, you know me? You know Mr. Medina? They know. They would tell you that I am one of the best engineers. I'm reliable, and I can do the job. Anything that you can throw at me, I can do it. No way to back. And I have worked with colonels, I have worked with generals, I have worked with, top people. And they know that I know. They know I shine. And that was the way that I can carry myself through the hard phases. Through being, this is job. I have to do it the right way, because at the end, it would shine who I am. And that has been the way. Let me tell you another thing. I told you that I learned something about, through the acting class. I learned a lot about myself. And one thing that I learned too was, and has been, and is, that even though you have a differences of maybe, let's say, a topic, politics, you still like the people who have that differences. You still have, a friend of mine, he wouldn't believe in God, and I couldn't, kind of, I couldn't conceive that he couldn't believe in God, but he would test me on it, and I said, this is gonna be hard to, because I kind of maybe looking to change his mind. I cannot change his mind, but then I cannot, let's say, hate him, or be, because he's my friend. So you have to, you love the person, you love the people, even though there's the differences are there. You kind of put the difference on the side, and you still love the people, love the person. So that's one thing that I learned. That started when I was in the university. I picked up French, and kind of love that the languages maybe kind of it's interesting to learn, to learn from all the, to learn a language and knowing the perception of those people who have that language. And at that time when I took French, I kind of loved the way that the social studies students were mingled to each other, among each other. The engineers are more like a coal, okay? No, I don't think that it's that way, but the thing is that they tell me that I'm not, that sometimes they inquire, engineers are cold and they are reserved and they are, but the social studies people, they are more mingled. They like to play, they like to talk, they like to, and so I kind of moving into that area. But then another part of the languages, when I learned German, I kind of start to see that I can see more of, when they let's say, if you see the German words display in restaurants and some other places, you start to see the perception. That means this. And some other people that don't know the language, they are not aware of that. I'm aware of that. I say, oh, okay, now I understand why they call it this way. Or so that addition of knowing the perception of these other people who know that language, or they are the races that they have the languages. You see the way that they see it, that perception, and so. I remember also, I picked up a little bit of Russian, and I remember kind of, I was in an airplane, I was traveling, part of my job, and I was coming from Washington State, and there's a community of Russians up there. So there were people in the airplane talking in Russian language, and I understood some of that stuff, and I came back and I say a word, Хорошо, which means excellent. And I told them, I said, Хорошо. And they love it. They look at me and they smile. You bring the people to talk. You bring people to play, to understand, to be one family. Well, I have been as a Toastmasters. I was a Toastmasters, kind of. I said during the 80s, 90s. I did that, and also I was a part of the kind of a science. How you call that? A judge. Science fair judge. For high school, and then for other levels, university, in the 80s, 90s, kind of, and helping, people all around, and if there's something that I can work on, I'm available, and I look at when possibilities, availability, if I have the time, I get into it. I kind of the way that I see it is that I'm like a more of a, like I enjoy my freedom of doing things. I cannot be hooked into something and then because it requires fully responsibility, and then more. I'm more like I enjoy what kind of doing now, being a kind of maybe let's say a beginners acting, because I notice that they are goofy, and they enjoy life. They are open. I'm that way, I cannot, kind of get into something and hooked up into something and say, okay, now hit me with the, with the best shot, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna continue to do this. I'm more like open to moving to things, to do things, and it could be this, it could be that, it could be, but I cannot be tied down into something, and I'm more like a creative person, creative, that enjoy life, being goofy, enjoy people, bring people to the same level if they allow it, be part of what I do, and we do, and I would say I help, but it's not gonna be something that gonna get me into one be there all the times, and like you are part of this purpose thing, and that you're gonna be doing this for years. I cannot be that way. I had to be creative. I had to do things out of this, you know. Well, not that told that way, but told in another tone, in which they said, "I learned from you. I understand." He does, referring to what I do or what I have done or what I have said. Friends would say, "I wouldn't, I wouldn't pick up a job that from what, like, let's say I retire from that job, I have that job available for someone to pick up, and the person said, I wouldn't go for that job. They're expecting too much from me, because he did it and he has done it so well that, okay." And that's a kind of one tone there. Another tone will be like a friend of mine. He would say, "You look at, he has done so well. He has done so well. That I can't. But he said it with, feeling good about it. He said." He has so kind of a promoter, like a promoting me, promoting, let's say, this cause, the cause, or whatever is, like my position, okay, the position of, I'm a good engineer, one of the best engineers, and he said, he's a good engineer. And he will feel good about me, because he is my friend. He can rely on me. He can, I'm the front, and he's on my side. Okay, so, and then kind of things like that. I wouldn't say inspiration, but they feel good about me being their friend. Well, immediate family will be my sons. I have two sons. My son Edgar Medina, my other son Christopher Medina. I love them same. Both of them are the same. I got the grandkids. I got a boy and a girl, and from Edgar and his wife Chenise Medina. My other son doesn't have a kind of sons, children yet, but I love my family, my wife, kind of let's say 38, 39 years, being married, and so kind of I'm proud of the family, of my family. And one thing about that, I would say, like maybe part of the, well, this is part of my experience, and when I was a caregiver for my father, I was more kind of giving a lot more from myself, and being more independent of doing things. And that I enjoy being independent. And that's one thing that I look at my kids. You know, I showed the way, but I told them, I gave them the freedom for them to choose. And that's something that I'm a kind of a proud myself, and also I kind of give high value of people being independent and doing the thing, and because you are open to anything, you're not can into something. You're not kind of a can into, okay, this is the way, and you're gonna be being pushed into that way. But if you're independent, you learn to be independent. It could be that it kind of, in the beginning, it's kind of a rough to be that way, to feel that way. But at the end, you are gonna be showing, you're gonna shine, into feeling much better that way. So I'm proud of both of my sons. I'm proud of my wife because they had shown me they are independent. They learn it. Maybe they look at me and say, "Well, Dad, you haven't shown us much." But I said, "No, I show you some, something that you are your own. You are your own person. You are you are gonna go and do it. You are not gonna back up. You are gonna go forward because you have known how to do it on your own." And I value that really high on people and on family and friends. To shine and enjoy the trip, enjoy the adventure, because this is an adventure, an adventure of living, an adventure of being with people, with other people, with other kind of races. And when I worked in my job, one of the greatest things that I had in this job was we were a family, my coworkers from different cultures. They were from Vietnam, they were from maybe couples of China, they were from India, they were our African American, they were from other even there was a couple of them, and they were from, or three of them, they were from Eastern Europe, and we got together really well. We were friends, we had a great relationship. So they were from different places, and so the thing is that you have to adopt, kind of learn from each other. You enjoy that friendship, and accept, more or less accept people from different places, from different races. Enjoy it. Enjoy the trip. This is an adventure. It's not, and you will learn, you enjoy the trip together. And so move along and shine, shine in every aspect. Do the great thing. You're required.
Giving always our best.
Yeah. You do the best. Do the best. And that, if you do it, within yourself, and you said to yourself, if I do it, I shine, and they respect me, and they know that, hey, I'm with you. I'm not against you. I'm with you all the times. Okay, and this is a thing that develops people and develops relationships, and and move along. Well, I think that we talk about everything. Um, I'm, you know, kind of, you see that I kind of feel emotional about things. Because I have been through. It's like a Barry Manilow movie, song, you know. I don't know if you know Barry Manilow. You know Barry Manilow? Barry Manilow is a singer, and he has there's a song. It's a rainy day. It's a rainy day. It's a really it's a rain for everyone. Rain falls on everyone, and it talks about the you go through the rain. I go through the rain. That is the song. Part of the song. You go through the rain, and I respect you. But we have been because you went through the rain. Because I have been through the rain, and we respect us, and we respect you. You need to. That's a great song, and you get emotional because you have been through the rain. I have been through the rain, and we have been through. That would be the way.